morning, students. Hope you all are staying safe at home. Today we will be starting a new chapter of political science, chapter 2, features of our constitution. As in the previous chapter, we have already learned about the need for the constitution and the role it plays in the governance of a country. In this chapter, we will examine some key ideas and principles of our constitution. One of the best way to do is by examining the preamble of the constitution. As the preamble to the constitution, it is an introduction. Okay, the preamble is the introductory part which outlines, which tells us about the objectives of the constitution and the vision which guides it. So let us now understand some of the key terms which is used to describe the goal of our country, the objective of the constitution. The nature of the state or the kind of government India is having, it is defined by certain words which is used in the preamble. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. The word socialist, it is inserted in our constitution by 42nd amendment in 1976. So let us move on to first sovereign. It means being completely independent and free from all the external control, and India, it is free from all the external control. They are having their own laws and own governance, and people, they follow the principles which are being outlined by the constitution. India is also having its own free foreign policy. The next is socialist. A socialist government, they aim to ensure social and economic equality for all the citizens through distributing equal resources, equal pay for equal work, and by enabling them and giving them an opportunity to earn their livelihood. The third is democratic, which is based on the principle of democracy, where democracy gives the people right to choose their representatives, gives the people an opportunity to elect their representatives who will form the government on their behalf. Every adult citizen of India, they are having the right to vote, and the representatives, once they are elected, they are responsible and accountable to the people. The next is secular. As a secular government treats all the religions equally. They do not support any of the particular faith or religion. Every citizen of India, they are having right to freely practice their own religion, where the state does not interfere in the religious practices of any of the community as long as it does not violate the principles in the constitution. Now let us move on to republic, as India became republic on 26th January 1950, and that is why on every 26th January we celebrate Republic Day. The republic, they are the head of the state. It is not a monarch, but someone who is elected by the people. And in India, the head of the state is the president, who is elected for every 5 years by the representatives of the citizens. Now let us move on to federal government. As the Constitution of India tells that it is a union of states, which is a federal form of government, which means that the power of governance, they are being divided between center and state, and each level they have been assigned, they have been given the responsibility of separate areas of operation. At the central level, the parliament made up of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they frame laws for the country, and here Prime Minister is the executive head of the government, where President is the nominal head. So they legislate on the subjects which includes in the union list, such as defense, foreign affairs and finance. So at the state level, the governor is the head of the state and chief minister heads the government. Here the state legislature is known as Vidhan Sabha, who make laws for the state, and state list has the subjects such as health, sanitization and agriculture. Here the next is concurrent list, which includes the subjects like education, electricity and labor among the others. Here both state and central government can make laws on such subjects which are in the concurrent lists. Now let us read about the objectives of the state. Here, the state assures the citizens of India justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Now what is justice? The Constitution seeks to give every citizen what they are entitled to by establishing an equitable, equal and just, that means justified society where they would be treated equally. Your liberty, that means freedom, as our constitution protects our freedom, think, to express ourselves, to follow our faith and to practice any form of worship. Equality, that means all the citizens, they are equal before law, they are having equal opportunities, and our constitution prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, gender and place of birth. This provides an individual equal opportunities for development and they do not feel discriminated on any of the grounds. The next is fraternity. As in our diverse culture of a country, Indian constitution seeks to promote fraternity or the spirit of brotherhood among the citizens of country. This feeling is important for preserving our national unity. Let's move on to the next topic, that is fundamental rights. As our constitution guarantees every citizen of India certain rights which ensures their dignity, peace and harmony, and these rights are known as fundamental rights. These rights are being safeguarded by the judiciary. So in case if any of the right has been violated of any of the citizen, they can move to the court of law for their protection or for seeking justice. So here let us move on to the first right to freedom, which guarantees every citizen right to freedom of speech, to express them, to assemble freely without arms, to make associations and unions, to move freely within the territory of India, to reside and settle in any part of the country, to practice any profession or carry on any occupation, trade or business. And here the state sometimes can restrict the right to freedom in the interest of public order and to protect the sovereignty and integrity of the country. So now let us move on to the right to equality. As it guarantees every citizen of India equal treatment, equality before law and equal protection of the law. No citizen can be discriminated on any of the grounds, any of the basis of religion, rather say race, or we can say gender, sex, caste or place of birth. So Article 17, it abolishes untouchability and prohibits it in any of the form, and if someone is being found to do so, they would be punished. So the next one is right against exploitation. Here the right against exploitation is defined in articles of 23 and 24 of Constitution, which prohibits human trafficking and forced labor. So any of the violation of this provision, it is punishable offence, and employment of children below the age of 14 years in dangerous jobs like factories, mines or something like that is also banned. It is prohibited, it is punishable offence. Now let us move on to the right to freedom of religion. Under this right, the Constitution states that all the citizens of India, they have the right to freely profess any of the religion, to propagate any of the religion. Every religious community, they are having the right to establish their own religious institutions, and they shall be provided educational institutions. Okay. Now the next one is cultural and educational rights, where these rights enable the citizen of India to safeguard their language, culture and script. Here, right to constitutional remedies, it seeks to protect the citizens of India against violation of any of the fundamental rights by state. It guarantees that if every citizen has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court for their fundamental rights, if any of the right has been violated, they can move to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is having the power, is having authority to issue orders or writs. That means a formal written order which is issued by law, which enforces the fundamental rights. So right to education, which aims to provide free and compulsory education to all the children before we can say between 6 to 14 years of age. The next one is significance of fundamental rights. Now why these fundamental rights are important to us? The first reason is to protect the liberty and safety of all the citizens of the country. It strengthens the secular spirit of our country. It safeguards the interests of minorities and weaker sections of society, and also lay the foundation for a just and equitable society. The next is directive principles of state policy. As in part 4 of our constitution, these are the guidelines which are kept in mind by government while framing laws and policies, which directs the state to frame the policies which ensure the welfare, justice, and development in all the areas. Unlike fundamental rights, directive principles are not enforceable by law. We should follow it, because when we talk about rights, responsibilities comes together. It's just side by side. So we should follow our fundamental duties, where our constitution lays certain duties that every citizen should fulfill. They expect us to fulfill them. Okay, they were added to the constitution by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Here are some of the duties: to respect ideals of Indian constitution, our national anthem, and our national flag; to defend our country and to render national service whenever it is called upon to do so; to protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of the country. Here we should also protect our natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to safeguard public property. And unlike fundamental rights, fundamental duties are not enforceable by law, but all the citizens should strive to fulfill these responsibilities. So students, I hope that you have understood the chapter. Keep learning and have a good day ahead.